All right, everybody, Daniel Char here, and this week I have an amazing guest, Alvin Hope Johnson. He's been in the real estate industry for over 35 years and a portfolio of over $150 million of multifamily, uh, real estate. Ah, man, caught my tongue over there. And he's been helping people buy and sell real estate. He's a speaker, he's a coach, and I brought him out here so we can talk about how do we get into the proper mindset of scaling our real estate investment portfolio, because down where I'm at in Toronto, everybody wants to go for appreciation. And where Alvin is, I believe you're in Texas, it's all about cash flow, right? So thank you so much, Alvin. And I look forward to having this conversation about real estate with you.
Hey, Daniel, thank you, man. It's my pleasure. Glad to be here. Love to share any insight that I got. So let's get started.
All right, man. And I love the Monopoly theme you got over there. I know you have I think a real estate called Monopoly. What was it called? Multifamily Monopoly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Tell me about that.
Theme goes with it. So my education platform is just that we teach people how to buy multifamily assets. We've got an online master course with like 40 modules in it that'll be listed, posted somewhere on my website by the end of February.
Yeah.
And we're also teaching people how to do it. And actually, one of our programs, the master program, actually, when you complete it, you actually own part of a building. So we're taking 20 students. The students are actually investing $50,000 into a 506B reg fund. So those 20 students actually have $1 million into it, and we're building them a 27 unit, 28,000 square foot building for $4 million, and they actually own it. So that's part of one of our coaching programs.
So that's a pool, right? So
yes.
They put in the money into the fund, and then you guys take care of it, right?
That's correct.
So you
manage it for them, but they own it. Or it can be managed by any other third-party management company, but we put those people into a partnership and they actually own the property. So it's pretty cool.
So you find the property, you teach them how to do it, and then they put the money in the fund, and then they own that property.
That's correct. And actually, it's a brand new built product. It's not one that we go find.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So I want to start off with your story. How did you get into this real estate business? I know you've been doing it for over 35 years. You were in the mortgage business, but how did you actually start in this field?
In this particular part of multifamily, Daniel, I found a guy that was mentoring me. So I had started a nonprofit, and this guy had a nonprofit that owned 16,000 apartments, and my appraiser buddy connected me. And so I had an opportunity to talk to him for 3 times, and he met with me once, and then he quit answering my calls. And so what I did was I texted him, called him, or emailed him every week for a year. And finally, he answered my phone and said, "Damn it, Alvin, sorry about that. But if you want to know what I do, you can come here for 30 days and I'll show you." So I packed the biggest suitcase I could find and went to a little town called Amarillo, Texas. And I was blown away that this organization had 16,000 apartments. They had 3 airplanes, private cars, and at every airport across the country. And it was all done under a nonprofit. So I learned from one of the largest in the country at that time, how to do things and how not to do things. So it was an amazing experience. I learned as a volunteer for 90 days, and then he started paying me. And then after 13 months, my friend and mentor died in a car wreck, and I actually became the president of that $1.5 billion company after 13 months of service. So I learned it from the maintenance guys and from the $1,000 an hour attorneys. Wow. And everything in the middle.
And now that's what you incorporate in all your businesses now, right?
That is correct.
Okay, awesome. So
that is correct.
So why multifamily? I see a lot, like down in Toronto, a lot of people buy condos. Condos are huge, especially pre-construction. I've been to the States many times, and everybody I talk to from America is all about cash flow. Tell me why multifamily versus pre-construction?
Well, I'll tell you, if you've got a single family, if it's empty, you got 100% vacant. Multifamily, the economy of scale is just so much greater. You know, it's from everything from insurance costs, shared wall systems, shared plumbing. Everything is just so economy of scale is just, it just drops to the bottom line so much quicker. Maintenance is a whole lot easier on 100 units or greater versus having 5 units. You're looking for a handyman. 100 units, you've got an on-site maintenance person and a full-time manager. So it just makes it so much easier.
And versus so having 10 people in one roof, you only have to fix one roof versus 10 houses, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
cool. So how would you advise somebody who's never done that before to jump in the field? Very common in my market space is somebody would buy a house that they live in, they would rent out the bottom, and that's their first indication of passive income. And then what they'll do is they'll take that money and then they'll buy pre-construction, and then they get stuck. They get stuck in buying houses and condos where like you said, just one tenant. And if it's vacant, it's vacant. So how do you get somebody who's always done it this way to shift the thinking and physically actually go and buy a multifamily? Because it's a different class of properties, right?
It is. So the appreciation model works when the markets are super, super hot, right? It's kind of like musical chairs. Everybody's having a good time until there's no more chairs and the freaking music stops, right? So then it's like, oh my God. So that appreciation model works well that way. But real estate is more of a long play. So you may get lucky and put a deal under contract today, and before it's built, you sell it and you make 20%, and you may be able to do that a couple of times. But that's making fast money. But wealth is generated day after day, year after year. And that's what multifamily does for you. So the average, I'll tell you, the average amount of money made on a multifamily deal is between 9 and 14% of every dollar that you charge in rent. Okay, so if you're charging $1,000 in rent, if you're doing good, you're making $100 a month net. So if you got 2 units, $200 is not a lot. But if you've got 100 units, then that's a little bit better. You know, you got 10,000 units, man, you freaking slaying it. And at that point, as an owner, you're not calling the maintenance man. You're not shampooing carpets. You got a full staff of people doing that. So for somebody that has been used to doing the appreciation model, I would say the easiest way to get started is to find someone that resonates with them, that speaks their language, you know, that you can build rapport with and connect with. And if that person is well versed in doing syndicated deals where they're taking in money from other investors, I would start with that first. You can get your feet wet, you can learn the process, you can walk through the whole thing. And then once you've done that and you're vested in that, then you can actually turn around and go out and do it again, or maybe even be well versed enough to go do it yourself the next time.
I think that's an amazing strategy, because what I see in my marketplace is everybody's putting all of their money into a property. And then now they're looking for a tenant upstairs, they're looking for a tenant downstairs, and they're taking all the risk.
Right.
And if you find someone who knows what they're doing, they'll find the deal. You can go and JV, and now you're splitting the risk, right? So instead of putting 100% risk and having a vacant building, you go and guessing the game, you go with someone who's been doing it maybe 30, 40, 50 times, 100 times. Correct. And yeah, you're not going to have 100% of the profit. You're going to split probably even 50-50, but now you're leveraging off their knowledge base and their experience, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And that's the smartest way to get in it, right? I didn't know any different when I started. I didn't have anything to lose. So when I went and volunteered for this guy, I got 13 months of sitting under him. And then I got 2 years of experience unwinding this behemoth of a company, right? 66 apartment complexes, 180 companies, and $1.5 billion in asset value. But I had construction experience, multiple years of construction experience, many years of mortgage experience. So when you tie in the construction and the mortgage, and then you understand how to rent the properties, it just kind of goes all together. So it was pretty easy for me to transition. And again, not having anything to lose, I just went all in. but somebody a little bit smarter than me that has a plan should probably partner with somebody else and not risk losing their life savings or, a lot of money, and do it that way. So there's safety in numbers.
Yeah, that's crazy, just to have that land on your lap. and and with business, time is ticking, right?
It
So
is.
every second counts, because you got mortgages to pay, you got
That's
employees
right.
to pay, and every move can make a big impact. It could actually bring you higher or lower. There's no middle ground, I don't believe, right? Nothing's
None.
stagnant.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man, for every dollar that you save, if you put a 10 cap rate on that, that's $10 earned, right?
Yeah.
So if you save a dollar, you earn $10 in value in multifamily. That does not make that big of a difference on a single family house. But if you've got just say 20 units, and each unit is wasting $100 worth of water every month, or using $100 worth of water every month, and you were able to put in some low flow toilets and some aerated shower heads, right? And you save $50 a month. That $50 a month on those 20 units is $10,000, right? Or it's $1,000. That $1,000 a month times 12 months is $12,000 a year. That $12,000 a year at a 6 cap rate on a multifamily deal equals $200,000 in value, just by saving on a $50 water bill.
So
That's
on
by
the rent,
multifamily.
you're covering the maintenance now. Like, you're covering the water bill on there.
We're starting to bill back a portion of the water to the tenant. So if you got 100 units and the water bills are, $5,000 a month on average, that's about $50 per month per unit. We're billing back about 50% of that to the tenants.
Yeah, just in case everybody wants to take a long hot bath every night, right?
That's right. Or turn the water on and say, hey, man, I'm going to the store and I'm going to let the water get
Yeah,
hot.
just flip it.
That's right. That's right. That's
Oh,
right. The water bill goes down dramatically when they think, oh, I'm not paying, I got to pay this water bill.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's
When
just a
somebody
mindset.
has ownership of, like, they're tied in,
That's correct.
their behavior changes a lot. I've noticed, right?
Absolutely.
Like, even if they own a little bit of equity, makes a big difference on the mindset that, hey, you know what, this is mine, I'm going to take care of it, or I'm liable, even though
That's
it's not a
correct.
lot. Like, when you're playing poker for free, you just go all
Oh,
in.
it doesn't matter.
It
That's
doesn't
right.
matter, right? But let's say you're with a group of friends and you're playing for $1.
Yep.
It's $1. Now everybody's like going out for blood now.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man! So
That's right.
tell me, how do you scale? So let's say I changed my thinking. I'm stopped. I don't want to go for the appreciation model. I know cash flow is the way to go.
Yeah.
I know I need to hire a mentor. I know I need to work with somebody who's more experienced than me. I know I have to JV. I'm all good for that. How do I start my first deal now? Because there's multifamily is anything over 5 units, right?
That's correct.
Multifamily for 5 units, there's 12, 20, 30. How do I start right from scratch now?
Okay, good question. First of all, Daniel, I think that answer lies within each one of us differently. What is your risk tolerance? What is my risk tolerance? How much money do I have? How much money do you have, right? Well, I don't have any money, but I know people with money. I'm a connector, so I know how to put deals together. So I think there are a lot of different components that go into that. And one person is going to know oneself better. How would I scale? If I had some money, I'd try to find 3 or 4 of my friends that had money, right? Because birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So just say I got $100,000 in a savings account or something. I'd find a few of my friends, and we would go out and find us a 20-unit deal that we could put our money together and go find us a lender that would give us a 80% loan to value loan. And me and my 4 friends would put our money together. We may have to put 20, 30,000, 50,000, just depending on the size of the deal. We put it together, get us an attorney, and that's how I would get started. I would not try to do 100% of this on my own. I used to always want to be 100% owner of all my companies, until it got hard and it started going downhill. Then there was nobody to help me swim because I was by myself.
And that was the same conversation about ownership too, right? So
That's
it goes
correct.
both ways. It's not just the tenants that are on the hook for the water bill. It's even when you're investing, sometimes it's good to have other partners that are vested in the deal. So if things go sideways, you leverage four people, energies, and even
correct.
their
Checkbook.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes man, if you can get 4 people to put out $5,000 real quick and get it done versus you having to wait 6 months, it could be a big change in economics, right? So
Yeah.
things happen. We're dealing with people where they live, so that's at their best and their worst. And things happen. So yeah, it's so much easier when you've got some vested partners with you.
So what is the smallest deal that you've done, and what's the biggest deal, like a single deal?
Since I've been in the multifamily space, the smallest deal we've done was 24 units, and that deal was actually given to us. And I understand why now, because I'm trying to give it away. But it's it's just.
Is it a money pit?
It's not a money pit, but it doesn't make any money. So if it's costing us time and labor, and we only got $1,000 a month management fee, and it's not making any money because it's in the middle of nowhere. That's what you get when you have a property that does not have enough economy of scale for a full-time maintenance guy and a full-time manager. 24 units, I'm paying a manager to drive 60 miles 3 days a week, and the mileage and her salary for that is way more than my management fee, right? So I'm taking it on the chin just to keep the property in good order and keep the tenants happy. And so there are operators, Daniel, that have a lot of small units like that, but they usually are strategically bought, right?
Yeah.
To where you can have one guy as a maintenance service, 10 of those little deals, and maybe one manager. You can share the maintenance expense and management expense between all of those. When you've got one outlier like that, it's really, really difficult. So that's my smallest. My largest was 462 units in New Orleans, Louisiana. So we've done 330, 230, 110, 74, 108. And we've also done we're doing it right now, a 360 single family lot development neighborhood for some single family homes as well.
So what's it like to invest in these big projects outside of where you live? Like you said, Orlando, right? So you live in Texas and you're buying a big property. That's a big investment.
It is.
How do you manage that, knowing that it's so far away from you, a couple hours away from you? How do you know, like, how do you sleep at night to make sure that everything's running and it's in order? And I know you got property managers. I know you got your guys out there, but how do you manage your risk?
Well, the systems, right? The on-site systems. We do have a management company. So our company is vertically integrated. So we have our own third-party management company. I'm the president of that, but we've got a lot of layers between me and the property. So we've got on-site management that lives on site. We've got security. So the police department have our numbers, fire department, our management is on site. So if I get a call at 2:00 in the morning, it's probably pretty bad. And I haven't had many of those. They don't have to call me if the building is on fire. Let it burn and just call the fire department, right? Just call the fire department. I can't put it out. Just make sure nobody's going to get hurt.
What's your number? 911.
That's it. Don't call me. Make sure the residents are safe, and then call the fire department. I do want to know if there was a catastrophic event like violence or something. If somebody got hurt, I would want to know that in the middle of the night. Fortunately, I hadn't had those calls, but again, apartment complexes, people get killed in apartment complexes, and we do bear that burden of making sure our properties are well lit and things like that from a liability perspective. So if we know that we've got all of those systems in place, people in place, it's okay to sleep. And again, you just need to know that you've got a trusted partner. I wouldn't do a deal like this So our minimum investment is $50,000 for an investor, and we usually have anywhere from 10 to could have 100, because if we're raising $5 million, right?
Yeah.
For one particular transaction. So I want those people to sleep at night. But if I was one of those people, I would not give $50,000 to a guy that's never done this before.
Yeah.
I would definitely do it with somebody that can show me a proven track record that they've done this. And even that's no guarantee of success for this particular deal. But at least they've done it 5, 6, 7, 10 times. And I like the way we're being, we're communicating. Our body language together is good. Those are usually good feelings. So that's a really good way to get started.
Yeah. So for your passive investors, like that are investing in that kind of deal,
yes.
If things go sideways, are they liable in any way, or are they indemnified? And the only thing they can risk is the 50 grand that they put in.
That is correct.
That's it.
There's no way that the limited partnership veil could be pierced to get all the way down to the limited partners that have invested. There's no way.
Okay, so
I mean, unless we all just went
question.
out there and did something really, really stupid, like all of us went with gas cans and set the building on fire, then yeah, we might all get in trouble. But if it's just a regular deal, then no, there's no way that veil would be pierced.
Okay, so that's good to know for the newbies. Yeah, all you have to do is just put your money in there, and the company, the management takes care of everything. And the only thing that you're risking is your initial deposit. But when you make an investment, you already you got the numbers done for you on what the cash flow is going to be, what the expected return is going to be. Correct. So, but that risk is if everything went sideways, and you got your systems in place for that.
And again, you're investing in multifamily real estate. You're buying based off an existing cash flow. If it's a new development like we're building, we're building that, and we're financing that and projecting off of an occupancy, a scaled up occupancy. So the chances of you just losing your money are really, really slim to none. I mean, if the deal was bought right and financed correctly, no lender is going to give you a loan for a building worth more than what, a loan for more than what it's worth. So the chances of you losing in a deal like this are really, really slim to none versus buying something and hoping it appreciates and having a close on it just because nobody has bought it from you. So big difference.
Yeah. I always tell my clients, my friends, the bank or the lender is your business partner.
They are.
So if the deal's no good, they're not going to lend you the money. Yeah, because you're only putting 20% of your money, right? And the lender's usually putting 80%. So if it's a bad deal, why would they give 80% to you, right?
That's right. And then getting with a good operator, right? So
exactly.
If you've never operated a 20 or a 50 or 100 unit deal, I would say don't try it the first time with other people's money. I'll tell you, fortunately or unfortunately, but it turned out really good. My first deal was 110 units, but we bought it so right. I had a lot of room to make the mistakes that I made starting a management company, buying my first property. I mean, we paid $11,000 a unit for these 110 units. So today they're worth over $70,000, and that was about 6 years ago.
Wow.
So it has appreciated, but we bought it right. And in multifamily, the appreciation comes from the cash flow. So if I have a 2% increase or a 5% increase or a 50% increase in cash flow, then my value appreciates the same way. And typically, if you're buying a value add transaction, let me explain that. So that deal I bought, the rents were $390 a month, super cheap, right?
Yeah.
Today the rents are $800. So we have the value add, huh?
Are they new tenants?
Some are, some not.
Okay.
So we didn't go from 400 to 800. We went from 400 to 500, 500 to 600, 600 to 700. And on every increase, we did some improvements. So now we're about to redo them again and totally redo all the houses. But So we added a lot of value in a physical sense by changing air conditioner units, changing the roofs, new carpet in all the units, painting all the units, new appliances. So when the tenants see this, they don't mind paying an increase. So that's where our value added. So the increase in value came because we increased the rents by $400, and our expenses actually decreased because we replaced broken air conditioner units, broken appliances. So we've got very low maintenance, higher income, and because we've got a higher net operating income, the cap rate that we got of a 6 cap gave us a $7 million valuation.
So when you buy these properties, who's selling them? Like, why would somebody sell you a property when you can increase your rents like that so much? You see what I'm saying, right? Like,
good question.
Yeah.
So that particular deal was a broken partnership. So you got, and that's one barrier of entry. This was an institutional deal. It was a company that was going out of business. The tax credit partners or the limited partners was a corporation, and because the GP was out of business, the partnership was broken, and everybody just wanted out. So that's one low barrier point for entry when you find either a distressed property from a physical standpoint, a distressed property from a management standpoint, meaning it's undermanaged, or a distressed property from an ownership perspective, meaning the partners are fighting, just like a divorce, and you can go buy a $500,000 house for $500,000 because the husband's about to kill the wife, or vice versa.
I see. So if they have a bad structure, that's an opportunity to come in, and then
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Now,
Because I always wondered that. I'm like, if it's such a good deal, and if you're charging $400 and all you got to do is change the air conditioning, you change this and that, and then you could jack it up to $900. Why wouldn't they do that, right? Why would they sell the building?
That's why. In that particular situation, it was a broken partnership. Now, what we're seeing a lot around the States now, which is another reason we started into the new development space. So I'll go out and call it a C property. The rents are $800. The rents in the market are $100. So what I'll do is I'll buy this thing for $100,000 a unit. We'll put $10,000 a unit into half the units. So we'll improve half the units, increase the net operating income. I'll create a $3 million value increase by doing half the units. 2 years later, I'll put the deal back on the market. I've proven the rental increases work. I'll sell it to you so I can say, hey, Daniel, man, we did this on 100 units. It's got 100 more units. You can pay me this, and you can finish it out. So then you'll buy it, and you'll finish those units and raise the rents a little bit. And then 3 years later, you'll sell it to Joe and say, hey, Joe, look what we just did. Now the market has gone up a little bit, $50. Joe, you can buy it, and you can increase the rent $75 if you spend this. And so these properties are just getting passed around from institutional owner to institutional owner, price going up as rents go up. Rents are going up as prices go up. And again, you're still passing around the same housing stock that was built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Wow.
So we decided to go create our own opportunities by building some new apartments so that 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, if we decide to exit, man, we're going to make so much money because we built new today with very low maintenance.
And you're using code that's like recent codes.
New code.
Everything is new, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Smart technology in all of the units. You could literally have, if you've got a 5-room apartment, 2 bedrooms, bathroom, kitchen, and dining room, you could literally have the temperature different in every room because of the PTAC units and stuff like that. It's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Tell me about the migration from California to Texas and Florida. What's happening?
Well, man, I've got a lot of friends in New York that are buying places in Florida because New York shut down and it's so freaking cold. I don't know why they want to be there anyway, just like it is in Canada.
Yeah.
But everything is shut down and Florida's a little more liberal. So these guys, anybody that's got money are buying second homes or real homes in Florida. Texas is growing by 500 families a day, especially around the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area. People are migrating from Cali coming this way. no state income taxes, property taxes are cheaper, gas is cheaper, houses are better, the air is cleaner, you name it, every good reason. This North Texas is the best place to live in America.
Wow.
And they're driving up the prices around here like stupid.
So what's going to happen in New York and California?
Well, they said California's going to fall off the map. I don't know. And I was talking to some really, really smart guys. I mean, some billion-dollar players that was sitting in the middle of Manhattan on Wednesday in a hotel, and there was nobody passing on the street behind him. Wow. In the middle of Manhattan. So they're expecting a long, long, long recovery from all that retail space that is empty now.
So that means that if everybody's going to Florida and Texas, you just by default, like you guys are going to have an increase of property prices and increased rent just by default
20%.
With the demand, right?
Absolutely. 20%.
On top of whatever you're doing on top, right? Like you're adding value, but now you're having a lot of demand. Are you guys having a shortage now?
I bet your housing inventory is probably at an all-time low in this area. Less than 45 days inventory, and that's pretty low. Especially with that many people moving here. There are cranes and everything all over Dallas-Fort Worth for new apartments being built. So yeah, it's really nuts right now.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Alvin. I won't take up any more of your time. You want to put out your website? Any last words for our viewers? Multifamily, how can they reach you and how can they invest with you? You take Canadian dollars, right?
Absolutely, man. We take Bitcoin, Canadian dollars, food stamps, whatever you got. My website, alvinhopejohnson.com. All of the social platforms, alvinhopejohnson.com. And Daniel, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you today, man. I really appreciate it. If you need anything, please let me know. And we're here. We're just trying to really we're not trying, we're doing it. We're really giving people a great place to live and opportunities where they don't have that opportunity to live in nice places. And we're going to put 20,000 units of new housing on the ground in the next 5 years. And we want as many partners as we can get to come and be a part of that.
Excellent. So if you guys are tired of investing in pre-construction condos, non-cash flowing properties, reach out to Alvin, and I'm going to put all his description. I'm going to put his contact information in the description below in this video. So thank you once again, Alvin.
Daniel, thank you, man. God bless you. Y'all have a great rest of the weekend.
All right. You too. Take care.
All righty.